Good evening and welcome to the May meeting of the Committee of Adjustments. Before we begin, I'll ask Christine to read the territorial acknowledgement.
We have gathered in Wilmot Township on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Mississauga peoples. We also want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between the Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should only take what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant and the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, and work together as a community. Thank
you. I would like to start by introducing our committee this evening. To my right is Mr. Miller, Ms. Kohler, and Mr. Roth. Along with us this evening is our planner, Mr. Miller. And my name is Tyler Bowman, chair of this committee. We are an independent body. One second. Getting a bit of feedback. We are an independent body appointed by Wilmot Township Council. We have the power to make minor changes to existing zoning regulations and to approve some changes to existing non-conforming uses and to give consent. Each applicant will be notified in writing of the decision within 10 days. With that decision will be instructions on how it can be appealed. Any decision made by this committee can be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal and who will then hold a meeting and make a final decision. Only the applicant and certain prescribed public agencies can appeal the committee's decision. If the decision on a minor variance is not appealed, it becomes final and binding after 20 days from the date of this meeting. If the decision on a consent is not appealed, it becomes final and binding after 20 days from the date the decision is mailed. The format of the meeting this evening will be as follows. Mr. Miller will introduce the application. The applicant will then be invited to come forward to speak or offer any additional information if they choose. Following this, anyone in the audience will, or online will have the opportunity to speak for or against the application. The committee members may then question the applicant and the committee will then make a final decision. Before we start the meeting, I'm going to ask, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none, Mr. Miller, I'll invite you to introduce the first application.
Yes, thank you very much. The first application this evening is minor variance A09/25 concerning 225 Alderview Drive in New Dundee. And so this application is rather straightforward. It's just simply seeking to reduce the front yard setback from 7.6 meters to approximately 6 meters to allow for the construction of a covered front porch. So the subject property currently contains a single detached dwelling. It is approximately 8 meters away from the front property line, so in order to add a covered front porch or anything attached to the house, most likely a reduction would be required. So the applicant is proposing again a reduction to 6 meters, which would not impact parking availability on the site or create any sightline obstructions, and staff are the opinion that is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. In circulating application, we do not receive any objections and are recommending that the application be approved.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to speak on behalf of the application? Okay, no, that's all right. Anyone here wanted to speak to it as well in the audience? No? Committee members, do you have any questions? No, seeing none. Could I have a motion for the committee to approve this application? Moved by Ms. Kohler, seconded by Mr. Miller. All in favor? And that motion is carried. I'll turn it over for a second, our next one.
Yes, thank you very much. Moving on. to A10/25 concerning 4297 Huron Road. So this application is proposing to increase the maximum allowable area of all accessory buildings from 75% of the lot coverage of the main dwelling to approximately 129%. To allow for the construction of an additional dwelling unit detached. So the subject property is currently developed with an existing single detached dwelling, a garage and a gazebo, and the applicant is again proposing to construct an additional dwelling unit on the property. With the addition of additional dwelling unit, it would bring it over the maximum allowable area for all accessory buildings, and therefore it would not comply with the accessory dwelling unit regulations. The additional dwelling unit is proposing to add an additional entrance off of Huron Road, as the existing laneway is a right-of-way in favor of the abutting property. So they are proposing to add an individual access to serve this unit, to not rely on the right-of-way. The additional dwelling unit is proposed to be built in line with the existing house, and this is deliberate to avoid potential land use conflicts with the surrounding livestock operations. Particularly, there is a large livestock operation to the north, so this will not introduce any new setbacks for that livestock operation and won't impact their ability to expand their operation beyond existing limitations. And so, in circulating the application, staff did not receive any concerns and are recommending that the application be approved.
Thank you. Would the applicant, is the applicant available to speak if they choose? No? Are there any others that would like to speak to the application? None? Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Miller on this one from the committee? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve this application? Moved by Mr. Roth, seconded by Ms. Kohler. Can I all in favor? And that motion is carried. On to the third one.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to A11/25 concerning 3734 Bridge Street. So this application essentially is allowing for an additional dwelling unit detached to be located closer to the road than the main dwelling. So this is about a 4-acre property located at the intersection of Bridge and Walker, and it's currently developed with what is essentially a single detached dwelling. The applicants are proposing to construct a new dwelling on the property, and then by default the existing dwelling, because of its size, would become the additional dwelling unit. However, the additional dwelling unit regulations state that an additional dwelling unit must be located behind the main building, and so in order to construct the home further behind, this minor variance would be required to address the location. So again, this simply avoids the owner from having to demolish the existing structure, which is something that township staff are certainly supportive of in a general circumstance, but in this case, the existing dwelling on the property is on the non-designated register of heritage properties. So demolition would be, if it could be avoided, would obviously be preferred to retain that structure. In circulating the application, staff did not receive any concerns and are recommending that it be approved tonight. Thank you.
Would the applicant like to speak?
I'll just invite, if the applicant is interested in speaking, you can just use the raise hand function. If not, that's totally fine as well.
No? Anyone else that would like to comment? No? Okay. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, could I get a motion to approve this application? Moved by Mr. Miller, seconded by Ms. Kohler. Can I get a all in favor? And that motion is carried. And for our last application tonight, Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to A12/25. So this application is proposing to increase the maximum allowable area of a building containing an additional dwelling unit from 75% to approximately 79.2% of the main building. So this one is worded a little bit differently since this is a farm property. It's not capped by a 10% lot area requirement because again, it is a farm. So ADUs are capped only by the percentage of the main building. So in this case, it's simply an increase of the relative percentage of the main building. So the applicant's proposing to construct again an additional dwelling unit, and the reason for the minor overage is there's essentially a covered front porch that would be comprising of about 40 square meters, which would put the total over 75% by a very minor amount. So that is to say, again, if this covered porch were not part of the additional dwelling unit, we would not be before this committee tonight. So it's simply a question of a porch of this size as part of the additional dwelling unit. Regardless, staff feel that it's a minor overage. We did not receive any concerns in circulating the application and are recommending that it be approved.
Thank you. Is the applicant present to speak to it?
I am, but I have no comments unless you have questions, so I can explain further.
For sure. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak online? No? Any questions for the committee, from the committee? Seeing none, can I get a motion from the committee on this application? Moved by Ms. Kohler, seconded by Mr. Miller. All in favor? And that motion is carried as well. So moving on to the last item here is approval of the minutes from our previous meeting in April. Can I get a motion to approve these? Moved by Mr. Roth, seconded by Mr. Miller. All in favor? And that's carried. That concludes our meeting for this evening. Thank you for attending, and we'll end it there.